How are we gonna get down there? Did anyone bring a parachute?
Did anyone bring a parachute?
We definitely
Wow.
we start lower than this.
No, I think we start pretty high.
We're not going down to that river.
Yeah.
Is there a shot?
277 miles long, 18 miles wide, and a mile deep, the Grand Canyon shows 1.8 billion years of Earth's history in a stunning natural display unmatched anywhere in the world. I shall not attempt to describe it because I cannot. I could not choose the word that convey or could convey to any outsider what the canyon is. I want to ask you to do one thing in connection with it in your own interest and in the interest of the country. To keep this great wonder of nature as it is now. Theodore Roosevelt, 1903. I've been to the Grand Canyon twice before, both really short visits. It's hard to comprehend the sheer volume of the canyon, and each time I went, I told myself that I need to hike to the bottom. That's how the Rim to Rim Trail ended up on my bucket list. After years and years of waiting, I finally got permits to camp at the bottom of the canyon. Now, you could do the trail in one day, and a lot of people do. It's tough, but doable. Actually, the whole time we were hiking our trip, there were tons and tons of trail runners doing it in one day. But if I'm being honest, I've always wanted to be part of the exclusive club who's had the chance to sleep at the bottom of the Grand Canyon. I feel like so few people are able to do that, and it's probably just gonna get harder in the future that it would become a real adventure if I could. As it suggests, the Rim to Rim Trail is one of the few paths that connect the north and the south rim of the Grand Canyon. This 22-mile traverse goes deep into the canyon and then 5,000, 6,000 feet back out, depending on which side you take. It makes it a grueling yet amazingly rewarding experience. The Rim to Rim Trail is not only a premier hike in Grand Canyon National Park, but perhaps one of the best overnight hikes in the country. 5 million people come to peer over the edge of the Grand Canyon each year, yet there are only a handful of permits available to actually spend a night within the walls of the Grand Canyon. We're all packed up, ready to go. About to do a 7-hour drive. But are you excited?
Yes, I'm very excited.
Nervous?
Not really.
No?
Are you?
No, I'm excited.
You have ski poles.
I got ski poles. All right, let's go. We just learned that the permits for the hike were forgotten, so we are stopping at the Kanab Library to get more. We were in and out in 5 seconds and paid 10 cents for a couple pages. So thank you, Kanab local library, for saving the day. We're a little ahead of the other team, and we have to drop our car off at the north rim, and then they're gonna come pick us up. We're gonna leave my car and take the other car all the way down to the south rim. So since we're a little bit ahead, we found a cool pull off here. Let's check this out. There's a fire tower up here, and I think we can go up it. We're gonna check it out. You may climb it if you wish. I wish to climb the tower. Whoa, we're getting high up here. Is it closed?
Yeah.
Oh well.
Oh well.
Looks like we're gonna have to enjoy the view from here. Well, it was like a push to open situation, or?
Generally, if we don't have a fire going on or a lot of lightning storms, we let people up and take a look and answer questions.
This is so cool. Can I record?
Pardon?
Take a video?
If you'd like to.
That's fun.
Wow. This is so cool.
It's so scary.
What's your name?
Lisa.
Lisa? Alex.
to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Alec.
I'm Dora.
Nice to meet you.
Wow, this is cool. What's this thing?
This is the Osborne Firefinder. It's the same firefinder that was here in the 30s when the CCC built this fire tower.
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah. So
Wow.
how it works is, you look right through here, through this peephole, until you line it up with these lower wires.
Oh my
Whoa,
gosh.
like a target, kinda?
It's like a target,
That's
and then the
amazing.
tower itself is this center point on
Oh,
the plate.
wow.
And each one of these lines represents a mile square.
Wow.
So if you can, it's not hard to get the sighting, the azimuth is what we call it because it's a compass heading, but to get the distance is the tricky part.
Okay. So that was a very cool side quest. I didn't have the camera on the whole time. I didn't want to have it in her face while we were chatting, but she said she's currently competing against AI to call in fires, and she called in a fire a few hours before the AI caught it, which, you know, a few hours is everything. So I'm amazed. We climbed up there and kind of banged on the top, not expecting anyone to be up there, but sure enough, someone was up there and she let us in and gave us a tour of the place and showed us how everything works. And it's amazing that people like that still operate these towers. This tower's been in operation for almost 100 years. So that was a very cool little side quest, and we appreciated her and thanked her for her services and for calling in fires around here because it's just a big issue out here.
We just got into the north rim of the Grand Canyon, and it is not what I was expecting. It is quite beautiful and foresty up here and green and lush, and it's awesome. I was expecting something a little more deserty. I didn't know we'd be quite up 9,000 feet. So very cool. Very excited.
I just want to double check. We have a permit to do the rim to rim and camp at Bright Angel.
Okay.
We can leave the car overnight at the trailhead, right?
Yes.
Okay,
at the Tribe.
Okay. All right, we made it to the north trailhead. Found a great parking spot, which is lucky because there were people parking all the way down the road. But now, Dora and I have to pull our bags out, get all packed up and everything before Nick and Vilma get here. So, let's do it. I made it. Dang, your salad looks good.
Right? Costco!
Oh, it's so good. How are you feeling now?
I'm excited. I'm gonna start it.
You want to start?
Challenge.
As we were driving by the trailhead, we saw that there was you need a shuttle bus to get there, so we don't know which shuttle bus or where to park for the shuttle bus, and I didn't read anything about that, so we're trying to go figure that out next. There's 102 today in Phantom Ranch. It's gonna be 101 tomorrow.
When doing a thru hike, there's always significantly more logistics involved in the process. If you're doing a loop or a lollipop hike, then you could just come back to your car at the end. But in this case, our car is a 3-hour drive around the rim of the canyon. So we had to park one car up at the north, drive down to the south, and then by the time we got to the south, it was already getting late. So we found a campsite in a national forest just outside of the national park. That way we could spend the night, get good sleep, have breakfast in the morning, pack up, and then get started on the trails early as possible. At the end of the trail, you can see all of the people waiting for a shuttle because that's the other option. You can park in one side or the other, do the hike, and then pay for a shuttle to get you. But there were dozens and dozens of people waiting for a shuttle. So many that people were really jealous that we had 2 cars parked, and some people even came and asked if they can hitch a ride, but we didn't have any more room in my car.
At all.
We just found a
Nice.
big ant in the tent.
And the beetle on my pillow.
Tomorrow, it's like the real deal, right? So, this is good night and get ready. See you at 5 in the morning. Good morning. It is 5:30, I think. We're just getting around here and gonna start getting ready for the day. It was actually pretty chilly last night, which is crazy because it's gonna be over 100 in the canyon. We have 2 minutes to catch the next bus, or we have to wait.
Right, and then I have a 30 cream. So.
Unlike the Under the Rim Trail at Bryce Canyon National Park, I just hiked that one and that was another item on my bucket list. The Grand Canyon has abundant evidence of human activity throughout its history. The oldest evidence are probably the Paleo natives who chased big game through the canyon walls at the end of the Ice Age about 12,000 years ago. They didn't have permanent settlements, they don't think, but the Grand Canyon is big and who knows what they can discover tomorrow. Stone tools and projectiles show that they were at least there hunting. In 1933, archaeologists found an animal figure made of twigs hidden in a cave deep in the canyon. This discovery of the animal figurine actually altered the timeline of human permanent habitation in the canyon, pushing back the earliest known dates to at least 2000, but probably 8000 BC. Prior to the figures being found, the earliest known inhabitants were thought to have been the Anasazi, who entered the region in 500 AD. They hunted, but they also grew corn and squash, and they used intensive cultivation methods. They produced pottery and made homes in the cliffs, and there's plenty of evidence of them being there. Around 1100 AD, a prolonged drought forced the inhabitants to abandon the Grand Canyon. Think of that for a second. People lived in the Grand Canyon permanently for thousands of years, and the US has only been a country for 250. People were in the canyon for 2000, maybe 8000 BC, all the way up to only a couple hundred years ago, which is wild.
So Spanish priests were actually some of the first Europeans to lay eyes on the Grand Canyon, while the Americans were fighting for their independence in 1776. That same year, a Franciscan priest came to the Grand Canyon where he found the Havasupai tribe, and they welcomed him with a feast for 6 days. The first European to set eyes on this place was a monk trying to find people. And maybe he found proof of God along the way as well. There are certain expectations you come to appreciate when you hike backcountry trails, especially a backcountry trail, you know, as renowned as somewhere in the Grand Canyon. And I don't know if you can hear me, but there are helicopters flying in here, working on some huge project, and all day they've been flying in the canyon. And I understand projects need to get done, but I can't help but say it's a little upsetting, hiking 10 miles down to the Grand Canyon and being greeted with a big construction site and a bunch of helicopters. So it's a little sad. We're not quite there yet, but we expect to hear helicopters all night. They're doing work right next to where we're camping. Finally made it. We are a quarter mile away from our campsite. It was a lot of downhill. I'm surprised at how difficult it actually was, just the downhill part, which does make me a little bit nervous for the uphill part, but I think we'll be fine. We have made it. We have made it to Phantom Ranch. Pretty, but there's a lot of construction.
As you would definitely expect that in the bottom of the Grand Canyon.
Never thought the Grand Canyon would be a construction zone this big, but here we are. I just had a really, oh wow. I mean, it's beautiful in here. I just had a really nice chat with the ranger, and he said, yeah, they don't have the Chinook helicopters in here every day, so special day for us to see them working on this project. So I mean, they need it. They said they need it fixed. They need new systems. Well, it was also my bucket list to swim at the bottom of the Grand Canyon. So I'm not really swimming, but we're sitting. We'll swim later.
Okay,
Once we got our campsite set up, we immediately ran and jumped into Bright Angel Creek. It was right across our campsite, so couldn't be closer, couldn't be more refreshing. And honestly, we filtered water from there because it tasted better than the water at the campsite. Once we were done at Bright Angel Creek, we walked up to Phantom Ranch, which is about a quarter mile away. And Phantom Ranch is a really interesting backcountry amenity, you can call it. In the bottom of the Grand Canyon, there's a little restaurant where you can get 2 beers, a dinner if you want, and you can even stay the night. You have to reserve permits probably years in advance, but you can stay the night at Phantom Ranch if you're looking for a little bit more comfort on your rim-to-rim trail. We didn't eat dinner. We went back to the campsite and made dinner there. I know I took a dip in Bright Angel Creek, but it was specifically on my bucket list to swim at the bottom of the Grand Canyon. So we made sure when we were done at Phantom Ranch, we went back and jumped in the Colorado River. It's 7:30 and 8 o'clock. We're headed to bed because the plan is to wake up at 4 in the morning tomorrow and start hiking out of here. We think we're gonna need all the time we can get. It is hot. It is hot in here, and it doesn't seem like it's gonna cool down. So the earlier we start hiking out, the better. Well, now that we're back on the trail, I guess we can get back to the history section. One of the very first American reports, if not the first American report of the Grand Canyon, directly contrasts our feelings today of the area. In 1826, a fur trapper wrote the gloomy first American impression of the Grand Canyon in his journal. He simply called them horrid mountains. 25 years later, the government sent surveyors to the area. The explorers chugged up the Colorado River in a steamboat, and the steamboat actually crashed and sank near where the Hoover Dam is today. The explorers actually continued on foot over land. That is when the leader wrote this in his journal. This region is, of course, altogether valueless. Ours has been the first and will doubtless be the last party to visit this profitless locality. Those words are really hard to read because of how strikingly wrong they turned out to be. You know, fast forward another 50 years and they find the Grand Canyon is rich in zinc, copper, lead, asbestos, but mining operations actually never took off because of how hard it is to get into the canyon. So we could thank Mother Nature for that. And it wasn't really until the 1900s when people finally started seeing the value in the Grand Canyon. Its raw, rugged, sheer, stunning beauty. Today, the Grand Canyon is actually one of the crowning jewels in the American park system. It's the second most visited national park, a World Heritage Site. It's considered one of the 7 natural wonders of the world. According to the World Heritage Convention, the Grand Canyon is among the Earth's greatest ongoing geological spectacles. And the evidence it reveals about the Earth's history is invaluable. So jokes on that guy who wrote in his journal that the Grand Canyon was valueless. I'm just going to read you some numbers here. In 2023 alone, visitors to the Grand Canyon National Park spent $768 million in nearby communities, supporting 10,100 jobs, contributing over $1 billion to the local economy every year. Now, I wouldn't say it's profitless. It's wild to think that the current state of the Grand Canyon, mostly humanless, is actually a recent abnormality. The Grand Canyon has been home to continuous human presence for a millennia, with diverse cultures adapting to the challenging environment. But it's not really humanless. 5 million people a year come to look over the edge, and less than 1% of those 5 million actually make it to the bottom of the Grand Canyon and into Grand Canyon's backcountry, which might be more people than ever live there. So fun. Oh, thanks, guys. Woo! Open spot.
Oh my gosh, I couldn't have done more.
No, that was the last bit I had. Good job, guys.
Woo!
It's impossible to describe the hike, really. Going back to Theodore Roosevelt's opening quote. Here's another quote I found that sums it up pretty great. It's like trying to describe what you feel like when you're standing on the rim of the Grand Canyon, or remembering your first love or childbirth. You have to be there to really know what it's like. So now that the hike's over, let's get to the second best part, marking it off. Oh, rim to rim trail. Down here, actually. Another one gets marked off the list. Yeah, that was a hard one. I mean, overall impressions of the hike. I truly don't think it was as bad as people say. We did it in 2 days. Most people have to do it in 1, and I can see how that would be much more difficult. But if you start at 1 or 2 in the morning, I feel like it would totally be doable. You want to avoid the heat during the day. The south rim is very exposed, very hot. There was no water caches. It was pretty tough, actually. It was harder, I think, getting down than it was getting up. I was actually surprised at how fast we managed to get out of the canyon. I was a little worried about getting out because of how long it took us to get into the canyon, but it wasn't that bad overall. I almost want to say this is a really close call, but the Bryce under the rim trail might have actually been harder than rim to rim trail, which is interesting because you really don't hear that much about under the rim trail. There was something about the constant elevation change in the Bryce trip under the rim that made it a little harder than the first day going down and the second day being flat and then going up. Overall, it's really beautiful in the Grand Canyon. I do have to say that I wasn't super stoked about how my videos and pictures came out. The day we went, it was very harsh lighting. It was over 100 degrees, which makes it very hard to stop, take a good video, put your camera away, get going again. We kind of just were trying to get through the miles, and the lighting wasn't on my side, so it was hard to see. You had to squint through the viewfinder and see like what was going on. So bear with the video. I think I got a couple good shots, a couple fun shots anyway, but this was actually one of the hardest ones to film I've done yet. But overall, super great trail. I have a few more big ticket items coming up on my bucket list that I'm really trying to mark off. Some more local ones. Driving 7 hours down to the Grand Canyon eats up a lot of time, so I'm hoping to do some of these more local trails and maybe even touch on the fishing bucket list a little bit and see if I can get anything out of that. But yeah, there are some pretty fun wild cards I have. Oh, actually I forgot. Here we go. Swim at the bottom of the Grand Canyon. I forgot to mark that one off too. I told you it's a double whammy. That's pretty cool. Yeah. So what's next? Not 100% sure, but I will let you know and see you later.